This is the JVL Echo, and depending on who you are and where you are in the world, you're either confused or you're brimming to the max with nostalgia. The Bartop scene in the 90s and noughties was a huge part of the arcade scene that unfortunately has not been documented anywhere near as much as it should have been. Looking online, I found endless amounts of arcade forums talking about machines just like this one, although a whole lot older, filled with peeps trying their best to breathe some new life into these dying Bartops, and more often than not, having an extremely hard time doing so. So today, I plan to cover in detail exactly what this scene was all about, how it got started, and why, to the right sort of person, it was so popular. I'm able to do this thanks to JVL themselves, who, after seeing the Complete History series, offered to give me all of the information I needed with exclusive interviews and rarely ever seen before pictures so that I can document this fascinating and mostly unheard of time in arcade history. A story that goes back over 40 years and leads all the way up to this, the JVL Echo. Yep, JVL, one of the original players in the Bartop scene, is still around, and this is the ultimate form, the 10th generation of Bartop, and no, I'm not exaggerating there, this is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th generation of these machines by the company. Not a cheap imitation, this is quite literally the real deal. If you open up this bad boy, you'll see that this is quite literally the most recent version of what they released as a Bartop arcade, just without the coin mechanism, although for a little bit more, you can get that added in too. 149 games for all ages, puzzle games, action games, card games, quiz games, erotic games, and of course, arcade games. I've had this system now for a little over 2 months, and each member of the family has become obsessed with a different title pushing their way up each individual leaderboard. It's a fantastic system that's probably pulling on those nostalgic membranes the more I show it off. If you grew up in an area that actually had one, that is, as previous models could not only be found in bars and restaurants, but petrol stations, fast food establishments, clothes shops, laundrettes, health clubs, anywhere where people got together, granted more so in America, Canada and different parts of Europe, but these or similar Bartops could be found. And you'll be surprised to hear that they made significantly more money for the owner than the more obvious arcade titles. And what might surprise you is that these Bartop arcade machines are starting to make a bit of a comeback, with the JVL Echo starting to pop up in several establishments like the ones I just mentioned. But we are indeed getting ahead of ourselves here, so let's go back to the beginning and look into the history of this often overlooked but still incredibly popular area of arcade history with JVL The Complete History. Welcome to Slope's Game Room. Our story starts in the early 80s, where a young electrical engineer by the name of Joseph Leverton emigrated to Canada from the former USSR. Eager to find a challenging job, the wire jockey quickly opened up his own repair shop, where he spent the majority of his time fixing old school arcade machines such as Pac-Man. From here, Joseph's love of all types of cabinets grew, from jukeboxes to pinball machines and Elemechas. The more he fixed up, the more he understood the coin-operated industry. And before long, with the help of his son Val Leverton, the dynamic duo began working under the name Joseph and Val Leverton, aka JVL. In the early days, the team operated numerous amusement machines, including jukeboxes, pool tables, and shuffleboards. But as you no doubt already know, it was the introduction of the first touchscreen device, the Concord 1, in 1995, where the company fully found its calling. You see, the laws were changing in America after the mid to late 80s saw quite a few push back regarding video lottery terminals, aka VLTs. Over in Canada, it was pretty much a free-for-all. If your bar or casino had any kind of gambling machine or service, it was perfectly fine to install a VLT too. However, in America, several experiments in different states led to the growing belief that this was seen as an obvious extension to gambling, but dare I say it, far more dangerous. Think about it. There once was a time when you would need to go and buy a ticket, you would then wait with that ticket and then later on find out if you was the winner or the loser. With VLTs, it was instant. And of course, those operators could fix these machines to almost never pay out. A major breakthrough came in 1989 when South Dakota became the first state to successfully adopt a legal statewide VLT system. Its solution was to have an arrangement between the state's official lottery, the state's official government, and of course, the person that owned or hired the machine too. This way, rules could be put into place to ensure that no tomfoolery was at play with these devices, plus that state would get a nice chunk of change too. Yeah. Funny how they changed their mind when they worked out how to implement tax, right? Oregon, Illinois, Rhode Island, Delaware, New York, Ohio, West Virginia, Louisiana, Maryland, Montana, and South Carolina all followed suit very quickly. It was an extremely important time within the entire arcade and entertainment scene. JVL noticed that America was shifting its views to a more Canadian mindset, and they attempted to take full advantage of this new change by creating machines that provided some of the same sort of games you would find on VLTs, but without the cash payout, meaning that they could be distributed to far more locations. The plan was simple: to create a system with better gameplay and graphics than what the competition was offering. 3 years of research and development went into this, trying to work out what they were doing and how they could potentially do it better. And it all ended on one very important ingredient: a CD-ROM.
And what you've just been listening to is the ultimate in recorded sound. It will make all conventional disc and cassette systems obsolete. It's dustproof, scratch-proof, digitally recorded, read by a laser, and it's called the compact disc.
CD-ROMs gave the team the ability to provide a wider variety of games due to the expanded storage found on this medium. 12 games were available on that very first prototype, far and beyond the most for the time. And even though it was a bit of a buggy mess by today's standards, they quickly worked out that by offering such a wide variety of games that all play just that little bit better than the competition, that they could attract the biggest audience.
So with the Concord, we made the conscious decision to pause and go back to the drawing board. We completely reimagined the system and graphics from the ground up. We brought in a team of 30 brilliant computer scientists to crack the algorithms, and even worked with a movie producer to help us shape the overall vision. We weren't interested in rushing something to market just to hit an arbitrary deadline. We wanted to get it right.
42 games ended up getting made for that first Concord system when it finally made its way to market. You had thrilling titles such as Solitaire, Poker, Blackjack, Jigsaw Puzzle, Picture Shuffle, all the greats. And yes, thanks to the exciting for the time CD-ROM technology, arcade owners could upgrade their hardware with a simple CD rather than having to buy new hardware.
We're confident that with the Concord, JVL set a new standard that the competition would have been forced to follow. We made upgrading software as simple as pressing a button, opening the CD-ROM tray, swapping the disc, closing it, and that's it, you're done. No more dealing with EPROMs, soldering, and reprogramming. We've completely streamlined the process. It's super simple.
Competition, you say? Yes, you can't bring up the history of Bartops without bringing up JVL's biggest competitor, Merit, who had already been on the scene for quite a while by the time JVL had come along. And just like the video game space of Atari versus Intellivision, or Nintendo versus Sega, or Sony versus Microsoft, everyone wins when you have some ruthless competition.
Fight!
The one-upsmanship going on between these two leaders was constant. Merit without a doubt had the market share due to getting into the space early and securing deals with distributors, just like Nintendo did back in the NES days. But every time they tried something new, JVL would come along with an upgrade and vice versa. And who was there leading the way at JVL? Well, of course, you had Joseph and his son Val, but you also had newcomer Mort Ansky, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at JVL, who used to be the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Merit. Yes, Joseph, Val and now Mort worked together to take on the competition and consistently released model after model of the Concord Bartop system, trying their best to attract the biggest audience possible. What do I mean by the biggest audience possible? Well, of course, yes, kids could play on these machines, but flick a switch or set a timer and a whole new set of games made themselves available, aimed at the adult crowd. As seen here with a couple of ads promoting games like Strip Poker on the Concord 2. Wait, what does that say?
Well-stacked profits from the hottest machine around. You can't beat it, even though you'll want to.
Okay, cheeky. And yes, I've played a few of these games myself on the JVL Echo in private. And yeah, I've enjoyed myself. Every JVL Concord machine that followed came with upgraded iTouch screens. Granted, by today's standards, they can be a little bit more than frustrating to use on those earlier models, but you had extra games and several other advances that helped JVL stand out from the crowd.
This machine sure earns money. Customers and operators like all the different games on it. The only problem I've had is it doesn't hold enough bills.
Yes, similar to the first time Pong was shown off, the machines proved so popular that the money slot inside jammed, which resulted in them having to make that money pot just that little bit bigger in later revisions. So did you run an arcade when you was a kid, or your parents did, or?
No. So our business, we were actually in the house club business, so we had a gym.
Right.
So it's like when you entered, you would go to the sign-up desk and all that, and then we had in the corner, we had an ATM machine. And then this arcade guy bought these touchscreens, but we also had a garage, and in the garage we had the arcade units. So we had like a Neo Geo, we had two Kunamis, but it was kind of like it would cycle. The arcade side of it is like, okay, I'm gonna give you this game, 50-50 profit. After a month, we swap it. The touchscreens, the JVLs sat there for like 2 years. The units, the JVLs, they would actually make a little bit more money than an arcade game. And it was crazy because that one unit, it wasn't a game or a type of unit that would cycle. You know what I mean? It's not like you know, you're going, I'm gonna give you Street Fighter 2, I'm gonna pull it out, I'm gonna give you Tekken. It wasn't like, it was like, you know what, this unit serves its purpose, it makes money. That always shocked me too, because also some of them had dollar bill acceptors. So it's crazy to see, like, okay, you pull out the stack of dollar bills and it's like, whoa, this unit made money this month. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy to me. You know what I mean?
And that was at a gym?
Yeah, we were a house club. It was a gym. It wasn't an arcade. We luckily just had a couple of games to just, while people were waiting to sign up, you could play a game. So I wish I had an arcade. I wouldn't leave. I lived there.
Yeah, I remember seeing and playing these tabletop game units that were, you know, you'd find them in like pizza joints and other restaurants, and they'd be sitting on top of the bars, always on top of the bars. I remember one would always be at this local restaurant we'd always go to called Barry's Pizza here in the Houston area, Houston, Texas. And I would play all sorts of mini games on this unit. I remember a bowling game. I think one of them was a bowling type game where you would use your finger on the screen to throw the bowling ball and try to get strikes. Yeah, it was really interesting. It was definitely a highlight for me whenever I'd go to that restaurant. We went there quite often with some friends, and I would always go to the bar and, you know, take a quarter, something like that, and pop it into that unit and play for a little bit while we waited for the pizza. That's how it was.
It was becoming more and more apparent that touchscreen arcade gaming was not only here to stay, but it was getting bigger and bigger, with more competitors entering the market than ever before. As we moved into the millennium, it was time to say goodbye to the Concord series of machines and say hello to the Conquest.
But Dan, what's so good about this one?
Well, besides the updated 72 strong games library, that's 30 more than the first generation, bars, restaurants, fast food joints, gyms, arcades, whatever establishment that had it, now had the ability to not only display up to 10 adverts whilst the game was in demo mode, but they could also compete online. Playing live against different people on different machines, possibly at a different establishment, maybe even a different state, became the norm. Getting your name high up on a leaderboard meant more now than ever before.
From our position, observing both the rise in Bartop amusement and PC arcade connected environment, it is clear that the online tournament feature that systems such as JVL offering allowed operators to offer a more compelling draw to their player base. The online connected tournament high score has driven the move towards competition systems, a natural progression from the traditional high score chart on classic machines.
But that wasn't the only upgrade. Starting with the Conquest, JVL moved from using bog standard hard drives and started using flash memory along with their CD-ROM disk drives. What did this achieve? Well, if you can imagine back into the year 2000s when these big, bulky and unreliable hard drives were used to store games, if establishments had these machines on all day and all night, they were prone to quite a few failures. That was until the Conquest came along and used flash memory to store its games, which was obviously far more reliable.
In the early 90s, Merit was the clear market leader in countertop trivia games. The games were very popular in bars and restaurants. Birmingham Vending sold hundreds of them every year. Merit came out with the Mega Touch as the first touchscreen offering, which only increased the popularity. Merit ran their software from a hard drive in the machine. They loaded slower and had heat/reliability issues. JVL came out with a similar touchscreen product that ran off of flash memory. It was quicker and more reliable. Eventually, Merit went out of business and JVL remains the only active manufacturer of these countertop touchscreens.
Having these machines become far more reliable and online focused meant that quite a few establishments that wouldn't normally have Bartop touchscreen systems started to have Bartop touchscreen systems, and in some cases they had multiple units. Old Navy clothing stores, Tower Records, discount shops like Bradley's and even Burger King. JVL was spreading its wings fast, thanks in no small part to the company's new collaborator, Apple Industries. No, not that Apple. Prizes were now being sent out to players, Bartop owners and even distributors who were joining up to the Touch and Win service. Prizes such as a VCR, 50-inch TVs, camcorders and CD players. According to reports from Replay magazine in 2002, the establishments that did take on this online way of play saw a 60% increase in earnings. And remember, this isn't like a slot machine that would pump money back to the player. This was solely just so you could get your name on a now nationwide leaderboard. 2003 brought with it the sleeker looking Orion machine, and personally, this is the one that I think I remember seeing in bars in the UK.
It has this magnetic quality to it. It's not just another boxy machine sitting in a corner. It has great sex appeal. It has presence, definition, and style, which really draws people in. You don't have to convince players to try it. They're curious the second that they see it.
This new machine continued to lean into the world of online play and even held competitions within the same venue for people that had multiple machines. The Orion not only had improved versions of existing games, better sound, better animation and better touchscreen controls, but the game library had now bumped itself up to just over 80 games upon launch. As stated, this was the model that most people, myself included, may remember, as you was able to upgrade it multiple times to have well over 100 games, meaning that it definitely lasted quite a long time in whatever establishment had it. After Orion, we got Eclipse in 2004, a slightly smaller option for people that didn't want to splash out on such a big offering as the previous year's upright Orion model. And then in 2005, we got the Vortex, the third machine in 3 years, each of which offering slightly different options to those that wanted them. The Vortex not only gave more games and smoother graphics as expected, but it was also the first machine to move away from the fat CRT screens of yore. It was the first of the machines to include a flat LCD monitor, which was very much expected for the time. Plus, with the novelty of touchscreens starting to not be quite as exciting as they once were, it was time for JVL to implement the option to play multiple games using the new implemented buttons found under the screen. It was also time to finally ditch the CD-ROM drive, and in its place you had a USB slot, which obviously meant that you could upgrade using a USB.
What I love about the Vortex is that it gives players true choice. They can play with touch or with buttons, whatever feels most natural to them. It's faceted with every premium feature our operators have been asking for, and it's where we've really pushed the envelope.
By the time 2006 had rolled around, the entire Bartop scene had started to calm itself down. Competition was still had by the two top players, with Merit now also implementing physical buttons to their Bartops too, but from here on out the machines offered by the companies were still very much looking to grab the attention of, well, anyone. But 8 generations in, it's fair to say that these systems could now be marketed towards the nostalgic retro crowd too. And no machine better emphasised this than the obviously titled JVL Retro. Giving off a far more Happy Days-esque jukebox appeal, JVL's Retro truly was a stunning machine, and it sold extremely well.
The Retro is all about craftsmanship and nostalgia. From the intricate wood grain detailing to the chrome accents, we ensured every single detail was captured with intention. It has the retro feel that the name suggests, but the modern technology that we're known for.
Which finally brings us to 2008, when the Encore was released. A system that's main draw was the implementation of a digital music service built into the system, where customers could connect the device using their phones and choose music from JVL's own online digital library. From here, it was upgrade, upgrade, upgrade on several of JVL's most recent machines. But of course, it was the Encore that was the final hurrah with its iTouch HD controls for quite some time. Bringing us back to this, the JVL Echo, the first machine by the company in 15 years. Simply put, they mastered the Bartop model to perfection with the Encore, and they are now refining it right here. Again, this is not emulation. This isn't just some flashy screen inside a beautiful box. This is, for all intents and purposes, the real deal, the same sort of machine that would have been in bars and restaurants and whatever establishment back in the day, but it's just the 20s version, as in the 2020s. It's a system that, from experience at family barbecues and gaming conventions, has something for everyone. Arcade-like games for me and my son, basic math games for my daughter, and puzzle-type games for my wife. I honestly can't explain what it is about this machine that is so appealing, but put it right next to whatever random arcade machine you have. I've got quite a few of them myself, and for whatever reason, everyone will have discovered a game and everyone will be fighting for the top spots. I suppose it comes down to variety once again. It's the same vision that was implemented in that first prototype over 40 years ago. Only now, that variety of games has ballooned from 12 to 149. It's a brilliant, not so little machine that to many out there will be one of the most nostalgic pieces you could possibly get your hands on. And to everyone else, sure, it may be a little confusing, but hopefully this video has explained why these Bartop arcade machines were so important back in their heyday. If and when you ever do get the chance to play on a classic Bartop, my guess is that you too will become dumbfounded at just how addictive these machines can be. Hey there guys, thanks for checking out this JVL history video, and what a niche video and an awesome video. I'm so happy that I got to make this video. I really am. I've got quite a lot of thanks to give out, because to be able to create a video like this, it's just not doable with the resources that are available online. You have to speak to outside resources, and yeah, that's why I'm so happy with this. So let's give some massive shout outs, shall we? Let's give firstly a huge shout out to Wicked Gamer and Collector, and everyone I mention. There's going to be links down in the description. Go and support these people. Wicked Gamer and Collector is someone that collects these JVL machines, and he was able to send over some stock footage that I used in the video, more towards the later part of the video. And yeah, it was such a hard video to make, because there was just so little documentation, videos, pictures, or anything like that from back in the day. So being able to speak with people like Wicked Gamer and Collector, and for him to be able to provide that stuff is incredibly I'm so thankful, really am so thankful. Vic_VP, that was someone that gave his opinion on the whole history of Bartops and his own personal memories. Thank you so much. There'll be a full unedited interview with him that's available for supporters of the show. My Life in Gaming, again, thank you very much for bringing your memories. An incredible channel. Worked with these guys many times in the past. Go and support these guys. Kevin Williams from the Stinger Report has helped me many times on previous videos and future videos. He's an ex-Disney Imagineer. He writes the Stinger Report, which is the go-to newsletter for all new arcade news. He's been in the industry forever. He is a true arcade historian, I suppose. Writes for Replay Magazine, so much more. A true legend in the field. Thank you so much, Kevin. Stephen from Birmingham Vending Company, I really appreciate taking time out of your busy day to give me a quote on how these machines work in your field. And of course, how could I have ever done this video without working with JVL directly? Thank you guys so much. For people out there that don't know, JVL did reach out to me. This is a sponsored video, and they asked me just go and make the video. They gave me all of the resources I needed, in sense of, like an interview here or there, put me in contact with people like Stephen, and just let me go off and do my own thing and make a video how I wanted to make it. And when I did that video and I sent them the script reading, nothing needed to be changed. They completely left me to do it my own way, and I mean, greatest sponsorship ever, yeah? Thank you guys so much, JVL. Really do appreciate this. Thank you so much for being able to give me all this information and talk about a niche topic of arcade history that just isn't documented pretty much anywhere to this level on YouTube. So I really truly do thank you guys so much. There's going to be links down in the description if you want to go and support the show, and if you wanted to go and check out these JVL machines yourself. In fact, I've just been told that I've been given a code, Slope10, if you want to go to their website and get yourself the latest one. That's the JVL Echo, with a nice chunky discount. Yeah, it's Slopes10, and that will get you there. Yeah, thank you guys so much, and hopefully you guys will go and check out the system, and if you ever do see a Bartop in the wild, you'll go and check it out, and you'll hopefully know a lot more about its history now. So thank you. But anyway, this is the part of the video where I also give a massive shout out to all of my Patreons, all of my YouTube members, all of these names that you see down here at the bottom of the screen. These guys allow me to make videos every single week, and I can't thank you guys enough either. So an extra big shout out goes to Andrew Dalton, Boots and Pup, Bram Perez, British Video Game Nerd, Chevmatic, Chris aka Brackman, Conrad Constantine, Action Saxon, Dina, Insidious Bliss, Jay is Manchild, Jabba Al Aiden, James L007, Jeff Mianowski, Keiju Samurai 1985, Livestream, Mike Fallon, Nicholas Bertner, Paul Float, Retro to Next Gen aka Lou, Richard Algic, Robert Ramsey, Ryan Burford, Shadow Dragons with Justice Peterson, The Sneaky Ferret, Vitas Varnes, Ye Old Hamburglar, Will Woodall, Livestream, Thomas Coyote Baxter, Dina81, Joshua Villarreal, Derekuda, Enraged Gecko, JM Akatimo 84, Ian Quell, Arista, Mind of the Unsane, and XZX. Thank you all guys so much. Really do appreciate it. This is been a bit of a passion project, this video. It really has. And thank you guys for holding out for so long for me to get it done and get it done right. Yeah, a lot of time has gone into making this video, and I can't thank you all enough. I really hope you liked it. And yeah, that's it. So until next time, guys, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.